We now know what happened with the pilots of the American Airlines just before their crash. A runway switch and a vague alert before you hear them crash. Just after 8:43 p.m. on January 29th, you can hear an air traffic control at the Reagan airport asking pilots if they can switch runway. There was nothing unusual about this, and they did so. They switched to runway 33. According to the black box audio, radio transmission can then be heard instructing that there is a helicopter in the area. Almost 2 minutes later, the plane drops 500 feet. A controller can be heard on the audio asking the helicopter if the plane is in sight. The airline pilots could clearly hear this transmission, but they couldn't hear the answers. This is because the helicopter and the airplane, were transmitting on different frequencies. The controller was communicating on both of them. At this point, the airplane is sharply focused on landing. The pilots would have had one person looking directly forward and the other one concentrating on all of the inside parts and movements. Right before that plane started that 500-foot descent, the pilots on the airplane receive a transmission that says traffic, traffic. The alert is not uncommon, but it would have caught their attention. Obviously, it would require immediately figuring out what the source is and any kind of correction. Seconds later, another transmission comes through. An air traffic controller is instructing the helicopter to pass behind the CRJ. That was a nickname for this plane. We may never know what the pilots were thinking when they heard this, and that's probably the most concerning part of this, because I know my hopes and thoughts were always that nobody had time to really know what was coming or really think about it after it happened. But about 16 seconds later, at 8:48 p.m., the airline pilots can be heard verbally reacting to something and a hit on the plane. In that moment, the plane's nose pulled up, and then you hear crash sounds. We are still waiting to hear from the black box on the helicopter. Follow here so that I can keep you updated on that. The entire thing is absolutely tragic. It's hard to even go through to make a video about. But as I said, follow me for updates. Also make sure to follow me on Clapper. It's an app that is similar in format to this one. If something happens to TikTok, that's where I'll be to keep you updated.